All right, welcome to an unusual video, you could call it. I'm going to do a deep work session and I'm going to take you with me right here. As you may hear, I didn't want to annoy you with my horrible music taste, so I have some Baroque classic music in the background. It also helps with studying. It's very beneficial for your brain actually. And again, you can see this as an extra video. I will put it under the execution week as well because we touched on it. High Target, we also touched on it. But I will put it under the execution. It's sort of an extra video right here. Now, it is very difficult for me. I love to talk, but during my deep work sessions, I like to be very quiet as well. So that's just my main focus. I only have the music playing in my ears, and I'll tell you exactly, I'll take you through my thought process as well. And because I'm talking, I might not be as focused, so I might not be in a full flow state, but I do notice that sometimes I can be in a flow state when I am talking, and usually that is the case when I love talking about it. So for example, I do love talking about it, so maybe I am reaching a flow state. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Let's not force it. Let's not. It's not even relevant. I'll just show you how I do my deep work sessions as well. The first thing I do is I have a topic. I've thought about a topic, and it was mainly about a question as well. I got this week actually on a flow trading plan, and I've been thinking about flow trading plan, how we can potentially not change it. I don't want to change it, but I'm looking into trading a filtering process flow trading plan, maybe for filtering process for the indices, so for ES, Nasdaq, and YM, which one would be the best one to trade, etc. These are all things that we can study. So that was a topic, and then I also had a topic still in mind, which was also based on a flow trading plan. So not necessarily filtering process trading plan, but a flow trading plan here where is London lag irrelevant? That's a topic I want to study. Now, I can do more of these deep work sessions as well. This is also how I got to ST, fake tops, fake bottoms, etc. So I'll try to do more of them as well. But right here, you need to understand this is for a flow trading plan. So I have a very specific topic that I want to study, and I know what it's for. It's for a flow trading plan that could benefit you. So that is very important. Now again, if I do notice something that might be beneficial as well to Forex, but this is mainly going over indices right now. It's just to show you how I do a deep work session, etc. So with all that talking, what I have done, I've started the music, and the music is sometimes, or usually it's a trigger for my brain. All right, I'm going to focus on something, whether that's answering a shitload of emails or doing anything or working on an educational post, doing something, thinking about something. It's a trigger for my brain. All right, I need to focus. And then also I have a timer here, which I'll set to 20 minutes. It's a physical timer on my desk right here, and I'll start it right now. I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe if I keep talking, you can hear it right here. And I wonder if you could hear the beep, but right now it's starting. So I'm just going to look at this chart, and the topic right here, so I have a notion on my other screen, is London lag irrelevant. And I'm just going to start a case study, and afterwards I'll also share the notion below this video here. All right, so it feels weird because I now need to talk, but again, this is how I start my deep work session. And usually I don't talk during my deep work sessions. And I think that's a very important factor as well, because I can't fully focus if I feel that I have the need to talk. Now, there's no need to talk actually, but again, I think you understand. All right, so right here, I'm just going to mark up. You'll see me mark up things, and when I do, when there's something in my mind that I want to talk about, I'll tell you. Or if I do take a screenshot of this to save in the case study, etc., I'll tell you as well. In this case, what I will also do is turn on my indicator, and it's not because I use it, but it's just, it makes it a little bit easier to spot the London sessions. And then I make it a pleasant color so I don't get distracted by it a lot. And these are all things that you could have done also before you even got into the deep work session as well. All right. London right here. I'm making a separate page in my Notion for 7th of September right there. And I'm just writing down my thoughts. That's all I'm doing. I'll show you the Notion afterwards. I'm just constantly writing down my thoughts. So right here, I'll write down London already took out a target in the form of a short-term low in this case right there. Just a swing low right there. So in brackets, I'll short-term low. Then it caused equities open to consolidate. Now, this is already knowledge that we had before. But what this does do is, because you are now sort of paying attention to the knowledge, you can reinforce the ID eventually. And maybe you'll see even more patterns eventually as well when we look at older data as well. So that is pretty interesting right here. And then I'll add a screenshot as well of that particular day. Copy image, and then the copied image, Ctrl V in my Notion. Perfect. And then for 0809, I noticed that we came into a 4-hour fair value gap right there, with 4-hour order block as well right there. Since we had a daily fair value gap above it, that already we know. Again, this is all, it's funny because I'm just showing you the work sessions that I've actually already done. Then the 4-hour right there becomes sort of irrelevant. So when London does push that lower, the fair value gap right there, it's extremely low probability. So that is also essentially what we've done right there, is made a discovery, right? But this is already a discovery that I've made before, that if that does happen right there, then this is a low probability because you have a daily fair value gap hovering right there. So you either want to trade off that daily fair value gap right there, or you want to trade towards it if you do get some price action higher right there. So I'm noting that down. 4-hour order flow lag didn't hold. 1-hour order flow lag didn't hold either, because daily G above it. And then again, I'll make a screenshot right here. Just a screenshot of that is enough, and I'll understand the context. And then I'll delete this, and we can go on to the next examples. Right here, I'm mainly going over the 1 hour because that's what you'll use in a flow trading plan as well. Right here, London already also, it's somewhat similar to this situation right here, only it didn't take out close low. But equities open already expanded lower. And we also have a fair value gap here in London, which got taken out. So it's somewhat similar, right? London delivers right there and then gets taken out. The London lag gets taken out. That's twice that we've seen that now. Yeah, it's twice. So on a 4-hour, let me do this actually. Wait. Was no fair value gap higher on the 4-hour. There was a 1-hour fair value gap right there, but it didn't end up holding as well. We just had messy price action right here. Sort of the same ID, whereas in if you notice this, it's very similar to the situation we had here. Both consolidations where London already delivered to a target. So that can be a short-term low, can be an intermediate-term low. Structure-wise, it already delivered the context in a sense, where it already delivered from this high to that low. So the context is done. When the context is done, it seems like ES, especially here in indices, potentially all of them, you want to avoid equities open, and potentially you can trade the PM session, but equities open you want to avoid. Again, this was already knowledge we did have, but we're sort of reinforcing the idea here. And we can now filter out some high probability things as well. So this, again, it's very interesting. Again, I'll make a new page as well. 0509-2023. Creating a page right there. And same thing. And then inside that Notion, I link the page. 07. Yes, 07. I copy the link. Same thing as here. Mention page. After London already delivers to the target structure wise and PDA to PDA wise, so the context is gone, then equities open is low probability and PM session might be higher probability, but still not super high probability. And this gets me to thinking. Now it gets interesting, because now I've just had some examples and now I'm starting to pick up on IDs. Because what is an ID? I don't know if you noticed or if you've thought with me. And it's because I'm fully involved right here. I'm fully in the motion, you could say. I'm now thinking about, all right, what if we look at NASDAQ in the same scenarios right here at 5 September and 7th of September. And we ask the same question. If NASDAQ already delivered towards those lows, then did it also consolidate? And if it didn't deliver towards those lows just yet, then NASDAQ might be the one we want to trade, or YM. So what did we just do? We are starting to create the beginning of what? A filtering process for indices. Because we have characteristics of, all right, this is low probability in a flow trading plan state for indices. So the one you want to be trading is the one that didn't take a target just yet during London. And that's exactly what we are seeing right here. The 6th. Oh, wait. 5th. 6th here as well. But still, can you notice the things that NASDAQ right here didn't take these lows just yet. So it has a retracement in the first place. Did it give some kind of entry though? This was this scenario. Yeah, you likely would have been wicked out right here before you even got in. You might get a re-entry right there somewhere. It's not as high probability though, but alright, but still the logic is there. The logic is still there. And let's look at the 7th. This one continued lower here, NASDAQ. London also took at the low. Then it did the same thing right there. It consolidated right there. Not price action you want to get involved in. Alright, interesting. And then here it did the same as well, consolidated. Alright, so both of them took out the lows and both consolidated. That's good to know. And why is that good to know? Let me write that down as well. Filtering process. I'm creating a filtering process page at the top right now. And the reason I'm doing that is just to write down my thoughts again. So both NASDAQ and ES consolidate after London already takes the context target. If one of them doesn't take the context target just yet, is that higher probability for for that instrument. AKA, can you create a filtering process based off of that? All right. Let's look at YM as well. Let me open, just for the sake of it, let me open it on another page. I'm also removing all the drawings. You can also just hide them. You don't necessarily have to remove them, but I just... What is this? I just sort of... I wanted to remove them just to get my... So I remove everything that's not necessary on my screen. I don't have it there. Everything on my desk that's not necessary, I don't have it there. I don't have my phone on my desk, etc. I don't... I do have it on my desk, but it's silenced. So I'm not getting distracted by anything. 7th of September. And again, the music doesn't distract me because the music sort of aids me. It's not distracting in this case. YM did the opposite. It had a lag higher. But London still somewhat delivered. And when I say delivered, it delivered into a premium array. In this case, and Nasdaq and ES delivered into discount arrays. 15 minutes. But the price action was cleaner though. The price action was cleaner. Also took at that low. 6th September. What did the 5th of September do? This is interesting. The reason I find this interesting is because London did something different here. And let me show you what I mean. 1 hour. Look how London is fully... If we were to look at the candle, actually, let's do that. That might help you to sketch the idea. Perfect, did nothing. Where's the thing? Yes, this is the one. What? Anyway, doesn't matter. Let me turn it off. No Fibonacci levels as well. Perfect. So what I was trying to tell you here, look at this London. It's fully down closed candle, and that was the same thing on ES as well right here. London closed below it right there, where it was a bearish session. YM was a bullish session because YM opened up in London right there, and then right there it closed. AKA it was a bullish session, and the price action here is cleaner. So even though London did deliver already right there, it did. But the thing is, London itself was bullish. That's interesting. YM was bullish when ES and NQ were bearish. So in this case, YM did the nicer delivery, even though they all took out the target in London. Alright, let's continue on ES. 4th of September right there. Nasdaq at the least resistance from what I'm seeing. And the thing I'm seeing right there is no fair value gaps, which in this case is pretty nice because we have no fair value gaps higher right there. So what is that? That's lower resistance by the looks of this. So that again reinforces the idea of a potential filtering process. This is just essentially what we're doing right here is we're potentially creating the beginning. So you're witnessing the beginning of a potential filtering process for indices. Interesting. Let's actually see how it did delivery wise. Five minutes, not that much. 1 minute. Would have likely, yeah, you would have taken a loss right there. Afterwards, you might have got the winner, but if you take one trade a day, it would have been a loss right there. Interesting. YM above that high. And YM would have been confusing because you might have looked at the flow train plan and thought, alright, we might continue higher off that value gap. 5M. Let me see. Gave. This is actually before 9:30. Okay. Interesting. This wasn't before 9:30, right? No. Okay. Nothing really here to work with. Okay, let's move on. I remember Friday coming into a daily fair value gap or weekly fair value gap as well right there, so that's why we saw this. Could have been a nice thank God it's Friday setup. See if it did deliver. Yes, right there. Where's the target? Any target? Oh, the daily fair value gap is also fine. Okay. Pretty choppy equities open from the last few weeks. Haven't been the cleanest. Pretty interesting. Ooh, that's my timer. I'll do another 20 minutes. That felt like 5 minutes. I'll do 30 minutes. I just did 20 minutes in the beginning. Usually I go for, I don't really, like I go for like 1.5 hours. But the thing is, I don't think anyone is really interested in a 1.5 hour video. And do correct me if I'm wrong, of course. Maybe it's just in my mind that I think that. See how clean price action here potentially was on this Wednesday. Let's see if it was clean on the other indices as well. Just want you to see how Thursday was not clean and here it was clean. What is the reason for that? And I can come up with a reason right now because this already somewhat took out both sides right here. This is in a context still, as in it still has a high to deliver towards. This is no high to deliver towards anymore. What did Nasdaq do on the 30th of August? 30th of August. 30th of August. Less clean. What time did it take out that high? But also less clean because we had no fair value gaps to work with right there. Fair value gap to work with, so come into the fair value gap, continue higher off of that. YM on the 30th of August. London also came into the fair value gap and eventually continued higher off of that. Interesting. Interesting. It's not the cleanest, but it's better price action than we saw. London. Giving the lows right there. just skyrocketed during equities open. I don't even know if you could have gotten involved. Hmm. Here the London leg is somewhat more relevant because it is holding. But it's still in this bigger context. What was Nasdaq doing at that time? It did also consolidate here. Did ES also consolidate? Yeah, somewhat did. See? Mm. 5 minutes doesn't seem like it gave an entry. Neither did the 1 minute by the looks of it. The 1 minute ST right there, but okay. Equities open haven't been that nice actually from the looks of it, but again, maybe that's me judging too quick. Mm. That is Friday though. Hmm. I can notice right now that I'm a little bit losing my train of thought. I'm not really in a flow state anymore. I was onto something and then I felt I sort of lost it. Interesting. This is when I noticed that I am onto something, but I need to think about it. I need to think about it. I need to give it some thought, and I potentially need to give it some sleep. This is actually what I've touched on as well. I believe it was the outro on the higher time frame, where the exercise video, where I say, when you get irritated, you usually are onto something. Or I didn't say it like that, but when you're learning and you get irritated, it's a normal process. Because then your brain is trying to process something. It's trying to tell you something. So usually that's where the great ideas happen. So this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm sort of getting irritated that I'm losing my train of thought. That I'm not really seeing it anymore. And that I'm not really in my focus. And I feel a slight irritation in me. Slight one. And it's usually a good sign. So let's continue. This seemed like one of the cleanest equities open in a while. Let's study this. What has happened? We are coming off monthly value gap. That's what I remember. What is the 4 hour doing here? So this is where the details come in. Monthly fair value gap right here, causing price to come into that daily fair value gap. The 4 hour It has an ST, yes it does. But look what it's doing, it's disrespecting that Vervai gap right there. Using the flow trading plan right here. To guide you to the right places essentially. Could you have taken that? Yes, you potentially could. What is higher probability? The amount Vervai gap is higher probability at that time. So you would prefer longs ideally. I want to see what Nasdaq and YM are doing at this time. Is there something happening on Nasdaq and YM? 23rd of August. It's also coming off of that. Is this also reaching a premium array in the form of a daily Vervai gap? Yes, it is. Right there. These lows. Let's dive into the lower time frame there. $930 expanded, but $830 already came into it. So also, again, that's also from a deep work session I already did before, where if $830 or even Asia, etc., already came into it, then right there, if we do have Vervai gaps, etc., then we will likely just expand higher. But that is where you can use 930 just as either wait for a new Vervai gap higher or just enter already at 830. That is when I would enter at 830 as well, personally. Same here. What did YM do? Which day was this? 3rd of August. Oh, where am I? Here. 23rd of August. YM. Yes, we are going higher, but not as clean. And I remember at this time as well, we were disrespecting weekly. We're not in a monthly value or anything, so. Alright. But this was clean though. This was pretty clean. Pretty clean move. Although we did come into that right there. So I can understand if you at the time would have been a little bit confused. Interesting. See how London here, this lag is completely irrelevant, the London lag. Usually the London fair value gaps, when we create fair value gaps in London during indices, they are not that strong. It's just like you can treat them almost like they don't have fair value gaps in the lag. London fair value gaps are not strong. They are not high probability. London FVGs are not high probability by the looks of it again. It's just not trying to come to a conclusion just yet, but they don't seem high probability. These fair value gaps were created in previous PM session. So it's a New York session. We sweep those right there. And we are coming off of a daily fair value gap as well right there. Coming off of that daily fair value gap, if you drop down into the 15 minutes, we don't really have anything to work with right there. It's interesting because this London leg did not hold. Why? It delivered towards that high, but again, towards the target right there. So essentially we need to have new context. So structure is still intact. So what is your intermediate term low? This is your intermediate term low right there. We just, again, this is your intermediate term low, of course, because that is your context essentially. If you refine it a little bit more, then right there as well. I didn't even know what I just said, if that made sense to you, but in my head it did. That's deep work sessions as well. Like yeah, it makes sense to me, but I don't know if I just made sense. If that makes sense. What are we doing here? We're again sweeping that low. 10 p.m. session delivers higher. Whereas this again had some seek and destroy characteristics here. Right there. Because London did have that expansion. Here as well. Interesting. Equities open creates the ST here. Here London did hold. London also held here. With Vegas. Also held here. Also held here. Didn't hold there. I want to do something. I now feel like I'm losing my context. That's what I currently feel like. I want context and then I want something to work with. Because of course, when you're actually trading, you wouldn't go into the 1 hour and just look at the London session and think, all right, what are we doing? Well, London is for Vega, blah, 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 blah. No, you still work your work on your time frames, etc. You still have context. So I want some context to work with and then I want to study it again, essentially. I just want some context just to study. From that Fairvalue gap higher. What did we have here? We had a weekly Fairvalue gap here. That's what I want to study. That's exactly what I want to study. I remember this price action really well. And we mentioned it in the forecast as well. From that Fairvalue gap towards that high. Right there. What I do notice is that we have Fairvalue gap here, which didn't hold. We have Fairvalue gap here. And these are unique, or they are the same. That's what I'm trying to say. They are the same, but that is also a weekly Fairvalue gap, which makes it strong again. And there's a high there. Interesting. Interesting. Just small details. So let's study 1 hour here. I think that would make more sense. Because I just felt like I was losing touch of reality with the context. Sort of getting lost in my thoughts. What are we doing here? We are disrespecting this first daily Fairvalue gap, so that is already context for me. Because after we disrespect that, then I see this as our delivery, so everything that happens after that down close day, that is fine to look at. Which day is that? That's Wednesday, 21st of June. Wednesday, 21st of June. See why this day was so shitty. The 22nd of June. What happened there? 22nd of June. Where are you? Still the same contract, right? Yes. 22nd of June. What happened? Did not come into it. Did it? Did not. Did it? I just thought of something totally different, but I was just thinking that this video will have a different section, a different chapter in it as well. I will create a deep work session because it's actually fun to do this and create somewhat of a filtering process. And you can see how we create it as well, which would be nice. So it's not just based on thin air. So yeah, that's something I will do, but right here. So what I mentioned in the beginning of this being an extra on the execution video or execution week, that's not true. I want to mark the 8:30. Do we have an 8:30 line or 9:30 line? I want to mark the 9:30. 9:30. Oh, 9:30. I don't know. Equities open. What? Is there an 8:30 line? How is there not an indicator? There must be an indicator. I'm missing something. I am missing something. There must be something, right? What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? Sessions. I just want a line. Open lines. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, thank you. Session open. Just want it on the 9. Is this going? Fine. It's the 9-hour candle. Fine. PM session was cleaner because you have right up to work right here. PM session equities open was not cleaner. It didn't continue off of the same fair gap it created. Interesting. Came into the overlapping part after taking out a target. Where's nobody's there? Okay. And after taking a start. Every time after we take a target, equities open, equity opens. It seems like the first fair value gap is just not relevant. First fair value gap after context target taken with an arrow to equities open happens. First FEG that should push price lower doesn't get respected. We usually reach for an overlapping part. Do we reach into something on the time frame above it? Not really. Right there we do. So that makes sense, but it's also the overlapping part, so it's like the same rule meaning the same thing. Again, the first value gap does not get respected. Okay. We have this London. What is it doing? Not really. I remember we had no news on this day. And Tuesday we did have news. Again, that first value gap does not get respected. This one does, overlapping with the breaker. First value gap not getting respected. Overlapping part. Only one fair value gap, so yes, then it does get respected. Then eventually we just take off on that Friday. Deliver towards the high. We do have a small retracement right there. Close to the target, so only fair value gap sting. Okay. I'm just thinking. Again, London fair value gaps don't get respected right there as well, but based on candle signs, doesn't like seem like it does want to do that. And then the London lag itself seems pretty irrelevant. I think we sort of can come to that conclusion where the London lag itself almost seems like it's not really relevant. It's more so liquidity in a sense. But why? Let me think. There must be. When I say why right here, why sometimes the London fair value gaps do get respected, and I have an ID because where did we see where they did get respected? Because we saw them getting respected somewhere. The London fair value gaps. Where was that? Where was that? Think. Here, they got respected. But no, not the London fair value gaps itself. The fair value gap here did also not really, did not get respected. Also didn't get respected. This fair value gap didn't, that fair value gap was not created in London. So the London fair value gap itself, if you want to make it objective, didn't get respected. This did not get respected. So the London did, no, actually not. Like the London fair value gaps are just not really relevant. The London lag is not relevant. More so liquidity. So what if you do this? Regular trading hours. That is very confusing. How do we deliver towards that high if we have only regular trading hours here? Without the overnight session. Right there. Come back into that for value gap, we deliver lower during the PM session. Come back into that, we deliver lower during the PM session. Create for value gap right there. Come into it next day. Huh. if PM session or if PM session. Why did this not one not get respected then? Ah, where am I? Where am I? Wait, was the daily for gap already? What happened here? I want to know what happened here. Why did this low not get respected right there? Why? What day is that? It's a Wednesday, Tuesday. I'm not sure which one had news. Ah, weekly for 4 hour for value gap. Yeah, pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. So if the London lag is not relevant, then why would you use the normal hours? It would only be more confusing. So electronic hour trading hours would only be more confusing if the London lag is irrelevant. If the London lag, I'm writing it down. If the London lag is irrelevant, which it does seem like it, because the London FEGs are just a distraction because they are not holding. It seems like, again, this is not something based on data currently, so I just need to be very careful with my wording as well. If the London lag is irrelevant, which it does seem like it, because the London, so then you wouldn't, then the electronic trading hours in brackets London included seems like it's just a distraction and not really relevant. This is pretty interesting because now this is how you also simplify, right? I think you can see what we've done here. We've taken away a certain part where we first paid attention to it. But if we use the relevant, or that's funny, RTH, relevant trading hours, if we use the regular trading hours, then that's the only relevant thing. So the London session itself right there is not really relevant, which is very interesting. It's very interesting. So you take away a big distraction. You take away a huge distraction. And what if you just traded the fair value gaps on this? So what I wanted to write after, yeah, so this is simplifying. Things, taking away distractions. Ah, the alarm again. I want to finish this. Taking away distractions, and then afterwards we have found nice discovery. We can end it on that note. And afterwards we can continue on another day. Taking away distractions. The alarm distracted me. Taking away distractions, like we did with other concepts that aren't relevant. This is simplifying like we do other concepts with other concepts. Yes, and then I wanted to write down, yes, if PM session, just a thought, just an ID. If PM session creates FEG, if previous PM session creates FEG, trade off of that in the next day's AM session. If AM session creates FEG, trade off of in the next day's AM session. No, not next days. Of course not next days. Trade that in the same days. Same days. Same days AM session. So you would just move it. You move it one session. You can already know if the session will be a high probability based on the fact if the previous session created an FVG or not. So you can also know which instrument is HP, aka high probability, because if the previous session created an FVG on any instrument, talking about NQ, ES, or YM, then that's the one you want to be trading, because we're in for a retracement. And if we do, and if, again, if in capital letters, because if we get that retracement, and that's the high probability instrument. Does that make sense? You move to one station, you can already know you can also know which instrument is high probability with every instrument. If there's no fair value gap, we retrace. No fair value gap, or no fair value gap, we retraced to, and we just expanded, creating a new FEG, then trade another instrument or the next session. I think we're on to something. I do think we are on to something. This session here created a fair value gap. Then this session also created a fair value gap. The fair value gap gets respected. Then after we deliver towards here, this fair value gap gets respected right there. So you can see the whole price action, everything we just studied, we were sort of, how can you call it? We were using so much brain capacity because we needed to incorporate so much candles, because we also needed to look at London. But this is the exact same outcome as what we would have just seen on London. Potentially even easier, I would argue. Let's look. Like, this is so confusing. But this, like, of course, pick your poison, right? Pick your poison, because no, not really pick your poison. I'm talking bullshit. No, I thought this was in equities open, but it wasn't. So that's irrelevant anyway, because I personally would not enter during London. But again, yes, pick your poison, as in, yes, sometimes you might not see or get a clear setup. But in that case, I don't think you're missing out on anything. Don't think you are. Order flow is just continuing lower here. We are not getting ST, then we get an ST out of it right there. Wow, we have made some progress here. What are we reaching into right there? Why does it do that? What are we reaching into? Is it even a daily fair value gap? Yeah, daily fair value gaps. We have made some progress right here. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. This is what we were onto. And now we've almost been going for an hour. I personally go around an hour and a half, hour and 30 minutes for my deep work session around that. Again, if I find something, then I have something and I want to add on to that ID next time as well. So that is exactly what we are going to do. We have found something. And I don't know if it makes sense to you all, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And we have found something to work with. We have found something which I'm very happy with. Yes, I love this. I love this. I love this. We have found something. We have found something. We have found something. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Yes, I love it. All right, perfect. I'll end it on this note, and then I'll update you, of course. We'll just do next deep work sessions as well, record it, etc. So yes, maybe I can create a new flow state where I record instead of do all that. What I forgot actually to say, I believe I forgot. to say at the beginning. How I prepare, I set my timer, music, and I don't look at any social media, so nothing is distracting me. I don't look at social media. All my thoughts are going towards the trading stuff. So I think of filtering process, is London leg irrelevant? That's what I started with, and I was working towards a filtering process potential for indices. Then I only think of that. Even if you can't think of anything immediately, just think of it. That's also how I record my videos. I only think about that topic. I don't think about anything else, because then the words come out very easily. And my brain is just thinking about everything that's related towards that topic. So that's also, I forgot to say that, but I'll mention it in the next deep work session as well. All right, interesting. We've got something. I'll share the Notion underneath this video. Once I update the Notion, etc., you can just expect a new one as well. All right, perfect. Thank you.